What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Monday, people. Hope you are well. As the international break is finally finishing, and Arsenal are back this week. Although, is that a good thing or not, actually? Because to be honest, the way that the Arsenal was finishing before the international break, you know, they were making us all very stressed out to be Arsenal fans. So, to be honest, is it a good thing? Listen, it's always good to have Arsenal back. But they need to start winning games. I'm sick of the form that they're in at the moment. And Forest this weekend. The Curtis Shaw derby, people. Hometown club against the club I support. But we'll see how it goes. Saturday at 3 p.m. Hope everyone's well, people. Yeah, I was slightly late there. Forgive me. It was... I was having an issue with my microphone there. It wasn't connecting to the computer, but... we sorted it out, people. You would not have wanted me to start with the audio that you would have got without the microphone. Big up to everyone. I'll be honest. I've enjoyed the break. I'm being honest. Like, I've been so relaxed, chilled out. You know what I mean? Out with the family and Christmas around the corner. I've been good, people, you know? It just shows how stressful it is to be an Arsenal fan. And I always say to myself, you know, when Arsenal come back and they start playing, I'm going to be more relaxed. You know, when we're doing like neutral watch-alongs and I'm just chilling in the chair like this, I say I'm going to do that for Arsenal, but I can't do it. I just can't. I get too caught up in the game and, you know, it's all mad, people. It's all mad. Stress-free for real, Keros. For real. Big up, Dre. Big up everyone in the chat. Good to see the community back. We're back now. I had a few days off last week, so it was a bit quieter than usual on the channel. And but we will be back to it this week. Yeah, there's no doubt I'll never be relaxed watching Arsenal. It's just one of them. Right, people. You know what? I thought I'd start off. You know we call this show information and entertainment. And I always say don't focus on Tottenham. They're not really our rivals. But you know, certain times you have to. Hey, big up Dom, man. He said I went Nas Beanie Bounty Killer. Oh, man, you had a hell of a weekend. Do you know what? I was going to go to that Nas concert. But he did Illmatic, didn't he, with a live band. And was it at the Royal Albert Hall? And I left it a bit late to get the tickets, man. But you had a good weekend by the sound of it. And big up Sella V watching from the office. Big up to everyone locked in, man. Whether you're at work, whether you're studying, whether you're chilling, whatever you're doing, man. Big up Marcel. Happy Monday, folks. Bless Curtis. Bless up to the community. Good to have you all back. And they're not our rivals. They're not our rivals. But when you see things like this, I refuse to ignore people. This is information and entertainment. If I cannot inform you of some information, I will entertain you with something to laugh at, people. Sometimes Tottenham make me realise it's not always terrible being an Arsenal fan. Can you imagine supporting this absolute state of a football club? Fabrizio Romano, Tottenham announced their new logo. Daniel Levy said, we have removed the curved Tottenham Hotspur text from beneath the cockerel. This enables us to increase its scale across different environments and stand proud as a true icon for the club. Let me show you the new badges. First of all, I want to apologise. For anybody tuning in, your eyes are probably, as Campos said, on fire. Your eyes might be burning looking at this. The old one, a cockerel on a ball with Tottenham Hotspur underneath it. Now, it's a cockerel on a ball with no Tottenham Hotspur underneath it. Nando's FC has reinvented itself, people. It's reinvented itself. It's gone from medium to lemon and herb. I mean, let's be honest. That is not like a worldwide recognised badge. So why would you take the name off the bottom? I mean, if I seen that badge, I'd be like, you know what, I'm peckish. I could do with getting some chicken for lunch. What? It's a football club. I didn't know that. Or is that San Antonio Spurs? Am I watching Wembanyama play basketball? Who is that? Damn, fam. Damn. They are shameless, nameless, and trophyless. You know, sometimes you have to gather balance to life. On one hand, I'm going crazy because 20 years ago this football club was winning invincible trophies. Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp and Patrick Vieira, Pires and whoever else you want to name. But on the other hand, at least my team doesn't have a Nando's looking badge. Hasn't won a trophy for years. Their best player of all time, Harry Kane, who can barely get his words out, ran off to Bayern Munich. I suppose things could be worse. Bentancur's just got banned for 7 days for a racial slur on Heung-min Son. I mean, it's not all bad, but it is still not great, but it's not all bad. At this point, I mean, what the hell is going on in North London, though? You know, like in basketball, and I'm not being disrespectful here. You know, growing up, I like the New York Knicks growing up. I don't know why, actually. I think, you know, Patrick Ewing was Jamaican. I love New York hip-hop. I kind of gravitated towards the New York Knicks. And I realised over time, how can I support Arsenal and the New York Knicks at the same time? Knicks don't win trophies. And Arsenal stopped winning trophies. So I said, raw. And you look at New York sometimes and you think, you know what? Brooklyn Nets and New York Knicks should just merge and just become one team. I mean, what the hell is going on in North London? We've got Robbie Williams doing concerts and a dog called Wim when we don't actually win. They've got Mario Kart tracks around the stadium, Beyonce and Wizkid concerts, and they've taken their name away from them. What the hell is going on in North London? North of the river, things are not going great right now. And I won't say they should merge because, you know, we don't want nothing to do with that Nando's badge. But damn, something ain't right now, people. But I'm going to take this off the screen and I have to apologise to all. I mean, there's 1,000 of you already. I apologise for putting that absolute disgrace on your screen. But I thought that was hilarious. The new badge is just nameless, shameless and trophyless. So I thought that was brilliant. But yeah, North London. Yeah, North London Scrubs, TLC settings, man. You got to stand up after that. Yeah, stand up if you hate Tottenham, you're right. I'm an absolute disgrace. I'm tempted to actually time myself out for 3 minutes. I am a bit of a disgrace. North London Red and North East London. It's something ain't right, bro. I'm telling you. Big up Unknown C. Fitz, are you here? Bro, I think genuinely Fitz has stepped aside, bro. He wasn't joking with that. We thought Fitz was just like a bit angry that day. But I think he really spoke from the heart that day, and I think he stepped away. For those that don't know, Fitz is like the most ruthless, honest Arsenal fan. He put in a super chat and said, like, thank you for everything you do on the channel, but I'm taking a break. I don't recognise this club. I think he genuinely has stepped aside for a while, people. Whatever happened to Buenos Aires Guna, people? We lost all contact with that guy. I don't know what happened. Yasin said, I will definitely report this video for showing explicit and disgusting content on the platform. You're right, to be honest. You know, if they pull the video down, I'll accept it. I probably deserve it. Fitz rage quitted. You know, like FIFA, you're 3-0 down. You just got to quit sometimes before and don't go through 90 minutes of pain. I think he genuinely rage quitted. Weekend League, you didn't even press start. You just turned the console off. I think he's done one of them, people. He's genuinely gone crazy. Buenos Aires was a committed fan, makes me worried. I don't know what happened. He just had a baby. And then he just disappeared. I don't know. Maybe he's knee-deep in nappies and milk bottles and all of that stuff. Temi said, nah, Curtis, you need a time. I was going to ban myself from the channel for putting that on the screen and just, I don't know, maybe Cruz can take over. But, you know, we had to do it. Mo said, finally got that badge. You finally got that badge, bro. Big up yourself. Membership settings, you know. Stepper said, at least I'm still here. Yeah, listen, big up the whole community. And there are plenty of you here who, you know, speak the truth as well. So big up the community. Big up the Twitch gang as well. Everyone locked in on Twitch. And big up everyone on YouTube. Major said, confuse the enemy. Don't reveal who you are, Spurs. Yeah, do you know what? They probably... Do you know the worst joke? Somebody said Bentancur probably said that about Son on purpose. Just so he got banned and didn't have to play for Tottenham. That really made me chuckle. I can't lie. I shouldn't laugh in a situation like that because there is a very serious element to what Bentancur was obviously saying towards Son. But, you know, I've got a wicked sense of humour, man. Man said he said it on purpose to get banned from playing for Tottenham because they're that bad. I mean, you know when you just shouldn't laugh at something, but you can't help it? I was that guy in school, people. When something got serious in the classroom, I would probably burst out laughing and get detention. And, you know, I was just that guy, people. So my apologies. My apologies. Right, let's get into the show. Another day, another dollar, as they say, people. Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar, dollar bill, yo. Well, it wouldn't be... Does Cruz get all the ladies? Yeah, he's at that age now where, you know, I think he's starting to get attention and he's talking about girlfriends and all stuff like that. And, yeah, man, I would say he takes after his dad. You know, I'd like to say that, but, hey, you know. Anyway, let's move on. Another day... Another Arsenal injury. Are you surprised, people? Are you surprised? It's not terrible because I don't think the injury is going to be very serious. However, there's a lot of frustration online and, you know, a lot of people saying, oh, another international break, another Arsenal injury. This time, Leandro Trossard. Hey, SLD, just cool, brother. Cruz needs to focus 100%. I told him, relax, man, get to the Prem, then start enjoying yourself. Leandro Trossard with an injury, people. He was playing against Israel last night for Belgium. Came off in around the 40th minute with a knock. Apparently, just reading this report here, Leandro Trossard was removed midway through the first half after suspected bruising to the outside of his thigh that caused limping and pain and forced him off during the first half. Belgium manager has said it doesn't look anything serious. I'm not sure whether he will play for Arsenal this week or not. He has apparently left the international training camp with Belgium, flown straight back to London to be assessed by Arsenal. Could potentially miss the weekend's game. Now, Jim, I think you're spot on. A lot of you have probably been there before. If you played football at any sort of level, very common injury. It's a dead leg. We call it a dead leg, right? We don't need to, you know, put it into all these, oh, it's bruised into the outer. No, he's got a dead leg. Somebody's kneed him in the thigh, dead leg. I'm sure most of you have had it before. It's painful. Ice, get the bruising down, give it a rest, you'll be good. I would be surprised. He got injured on Sunday evening. I would be surprised if he's not playing by Saturday afternoon with a dead leg. Unless it's a really, really bad one. But he was limping a little bit. I would be shocked if he wasn't playing. Come on, surely. And I'm sure they're not doing what we was doing back in the day when... You know, like you had to go in the freezer and get out the frozen peas and just whack them on your leg. Your mum's going mad at you because you've defrosted the peas. Now she's got to throw them in the bin and buy another packet from Quick Save. It was all mad, people. I'm sure they've got, you know, better than some frozen peas and sweet corn in the freezer to sort that out. So, I'm sorry. Surely he'll be available. I think he'll be okay. I think he'll play. Do you know what? Somebody reached out in the comments and basically said it's Trossard's fault that we're having such a bad time in the league at the moment. I was like, why? And he broke it down. Forgive me, I haven't got the name of who wrote the comment, but the comment was in the last video. It was a brilliant comment. Not that I agree that it's all his fault, but when you put it into context, there is a lot of blame here. And you know what, by the way? Somebody said he's hungover. He's not injured. Probably. Stella or Trossard probably bought the 8-pack instead of the 4-pack this week and he was steaming. He said basically, when you look at it, Trossard got sent off against Manchester City. Potentially cost us 2 points. We were winning the game, we ended up drawing. He then said his back pass led to Saliba getting sent off against Bournemouth, a game we probably would have won, should have at least got a point. Some blame has to be laid at the feet of Saliba. He didn't have to make the challenge, but, you know, a terrible back pass that it did lead to a red card. He then said Saliba's suspension led to us drawing against Liverpool because our defence was wide open. If Saliba plays, we beat Liverpool. He then went a step further and said Trossard's miss against Chelsea in the last second cost us a victory against Chelsea. So basically, he blamed everything on Trossard. Now listen, the facts are the facts. Sent off against Man City, misses a sitter against Chelsea, bad back pass against Bournemouth, and a suspension against Liverpool. You are right, but there's a bigger picture. There's a bigger picture. I mean, I had to check. I thought it was Mikel Arteta who put the comment in. He said, listen, man, it ain't my fault. Blame that grey-haired winger with the panda eyes. It's his fault. So I said, listen, what you're saying is correct. But let's look at the bigger picture, bro. It's way deeper than that. What about Declan Rice kicking the ball away? What about 46 crosses against Inter Milan? What about 2 false nines? What about not addressing our squad properly in the summer? So, listen, he definitely broke it down, and you can lay a lot of blame on what Trossard has done there. But I'm not about to say, Arsenal are not at the top of the league just because of Trossard. I've seen enough nonsense this season to know that it's way the picture is way bigger than just old panda eyes. Trossardinho, aka Stella or Trossard. So yeah, I think it may have been Mikel Arteta or AirPod Albert with that comment, but there was truth in what you said. He has had a very bad season so far, but I'm not about to throw him under the bus when I've got a manager, a sporting director that's walked out, and a silent ownership that ain't doing enough. But anyway, in terms of Trossard, dead leg, should be available for the weekend, although the narrative online is there's a race against time to see if Trossard will be available for the Forest game. Let's be totally honest, he shouldn't be starting the game anyway. Let's keep it a buck. He shouldn't be starting. I think they'll probably go with Martinelli on the left. He scored against Chelsea. Saka on the right. They'll throw Trossard on the bench and put Havertz up front. So I don't think he'll start anyway. But obviously we want everybody available for this run. Sterling is available after missing the Chelsea game. Although when he is available, he doesn't play anyway. Is it wrong of me saying Panda Eyes? I feel like if I see him on tour next year after calling him Kung Fu Panda, things may be a bit awkward. However, I did do a whole Netflix series of Arteta out and still shook hands with him and spoke to him in the press conference. So, I can be shameless if I need to be anyway. So I think Panda Eyes is quite mild, actually. He does look knackered, to be honest, for a guy that's on £90,000 a week. You'd think he was a builder doing 14-hour shifts every day, how tired he looks. And the grey hair as well makes it even worse. Sterling was chilling with Vibes Cartel. I actually said last week. I think last week I called Sterling. I actually called him Vibes Cartel. And I called him Sanka from Cool Runnings. And then ironically over the weekend, Sterling pops up in Jamaica with Vibes Cartel. So it is funny how these things work out. Maybe Trossard will end up in the new Kung Fu Panda movie as a drunk, drinking Stella. You never know. But yeah, Trossard, dead leg, ice it up, get on the pitch. No messing around. Havertz scored for Germany. Well, good for them. Any chance of him scoring for us, or I don't know. Leave him at yard. Yeah, stay over there, man. Play for Portmore. Do something. Play in the Jamaican League or something. Nah, listen, Sterling to me, I think sometimes when players make it professional at such a young age, Sterling was playing first team football at 16, 17 at Liverpool. He's now 29 years of age. Imagine being a professional for 13 years in the Premier League the whole time. Especially a player that Sterling's game is built around speed. He's not one of them players like a Modric or a Xavi or a Pirlo where, they're not the quickest runners, but the ball does everything for them. He's a quick player that runs at people. 13 years at the top level. He's probably the equivalent of like a 35, 36-year-old player that, most players get in the first team 19, 20 years of age. By your early mid-30s, you start to, go downhill. Sterling has reached that at a younger period because he got in the first team so young. So I'm not mad at Sterling. I'm really not mad at Sterling. Yeah, he's got like 3 kids. He's had a very hectic lifestyle. I think more you've got to look at Arsenal, and should they have looked into that and gone, well, actually, he's fading at Chelsea. Chelsea fans have been booing him. He can't make the matchday squad. They took the number off him. I don't think Arsenal had any intention during this summer window of signing Raheem Sterling. It fell on their desk on deadline day. They knew there was a problem. They knew that there was no cover for Saka with Nelson going. And they knew the fans were not happy. And they thought, you know what? Sterling on loan. It will distract the fan base. We'll sell him as a Premier League winner. They just brought out Jamaica merch and the culture fell for it, hook, line and sinker. And I was included in that, people. I was included in that, you know. But he ain't the same player. Now, don't get me wrong. He hasn't played a lot for us for me to totally write him off. It's not like he's played 7-8 games and he's been terrible. He hasn't played a lot. But when he has played, that doesn't look anywhere near the Raheem Sterling you saw at Liverpool or Manchester City. So I think he's winding down his career. So I'm not mad at him. I think we probably we've signed him at the wrong period in his career, and we did that with a lot of players. We signed Peter Cech way past his best. David Luiz. We've done it with loads of players. So Dark Laser said, Sterling turns 30 next month but plays like a 35-year-old. As I said, in the first team at 16, he's had a long career. Panic loan transfer, you're spot on, Nathan. 100%. We've done it loads of times. Dre said he's in retirement mode. Santa Claus Arsenal. Christmas is nearly here, man. You know we're going to hand out gifts. Sterling can't get a kick at Chelsea. We'll take him. We love the Chelsea recycling bin. We really do. We're rummaging through their bin, looking for something we can recycle. I'm telling you now, probably, maybe by the summer, don't be surprised when Mudryk starts getting linked with Arsenal. I can see it a mile off. We need a winger this summer. Expectation, Nico Williams, Kvara, Rafa Leao. Reality, cut price deal for Mudryk. Expectation, Isak, Gyokeres, Osimhen. Reality, Benjamin Sesko. Trust me, we love the recycling bin, people. Honestly, we are like a recycling plant. We're rummaging through the Chelsea bins for all their leftovers. We'll get Mudryk for about 35, 40 million. It's crazy. And you know it. You can see it happening, people. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about the striker that we all want at the moment, but the striker we probably won't get. Somebody just said Arsenal buy luxury cars with 100,000 plus miles on the clock. Yeah, good to look at, mate, but you know that engine's about to mash up. You know the engine's going to mash up any day now, people. It'll be the highest paid as well. Let's talk about this man, the player that we all want, but we all know we're not getting him. Celebration hype, people. Celebration hype. Victor Gyokeres. Yeah, engine's written off. It's dripping oil. Look at this. I bought a Bentley for 20 grand. Oh, my God. It's a dream of mine to buy a Bentley. Yeah, you do know there's 185,000 miles on it, though. And the engine light's on. Oh, and it's a Cat D. It's been in a head-on crash. Yeah, but it's a Bentley. Yeah, good luck with that, mate. That's what Arsenal do. We're buying Cat D cars, people. Luxury Cat D cars. The paint's peeling. The engine's leaking. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. But we'll see. Victor Gyokeres was interviewed over the weekend, people, as he was away on international duty. With Sweden, him and Isak in the same team. We spoke about it the other day. Who would you rather sign at Arsenal? 65% of you said you would rather take Gyokeres. 35% said you would rather take Isak. I think the problem with Isak, and just as I'm talking about an engine, what the hell is that noise next door? Have they just turned an engine on? Can you guys hear that noise in the background? What the hell is that? This has happened before, by the way, you know. They've got the builders in next door. I thought someone had turned up in the Bentley that I was just talking about. It might be the tractors. It might be the Ipswich fans. What the... This is how you know this is live, people. This ain't pre-recorded. This ain't glamorous. I'm not in £100,000 studio. Some of you can hear it, some of you can't. What the hell is going on? They're drilling by the sound of it. I'll just try and speak over it. Some of you can't hear it anyway. It's Mike Tyson. Oh, by the way, how have I not spoken about it? Did anybody stay up till 5 o'clock in the morning to watch Mike Tyson against Jake Paul? I mean, listen, all I can say in terms of that fight, do I even call it a fight? I don't know if I should even call it a fight, but that was crazy. That was crazy. Do you know what, though? A lot of people were mad online. Well, Netflix was absolutely shambles. I spent more time seeing that loading circle in the middle of the screen than the actual fight. It is a disgrace to sport. It is. But, and Taylor Serrano was a much better fight, by the way. But you know what? You know, sometimes you just got to sit there and say, can't knock the hustle, man. You can't knock the hustle, people. Real talk. You can't knock the hustle. This is the reality of the situation. If we thought it was that disgraceful, we would have all stayed away from it. Said, what? 58-year-old Mike Tyson against Jake Paul? I'm not watching that. But you know what? We couldn't stay away from it, could we? Curiosity. Curiosity drew us all in, people. Record viewing figures for Netflix. And one of the worst fights you've ever seen in your life. Tyson didn't throw punches. He was limping with a knee brace on. And Jake Paul basically didn't want to knock him out because he knew he'd be hated by everybody. $20 million for Mike Tyson. And you know what? I sat there afterwards and I thought, 58 years of age. And then he said in the interview 2 years ago, didn't he? He was on, like, he was fighting for his life, Mike Tyson, 2 months ago. Was in a wheelchair, had a blood transfusion. And I thought, you've just stepped in the ring, made $20 million as a 58-year-old man. He got, like, a couple punches that didn't even look like they bothered him. You can't knock the hustle sometimes, people. Like, we live in a society where the government is forever taking money out of our pockets. You know, the better you do in life, the more they take off you. The more tax, the more national insurance, the more this, the more that. 58 years of age, stepped in the ring. Yo, give me 20 million for 16 minutes worth of work. What was that? 8 2-minute rounds. 16 minutes, 20 mil, hardly got touched. 58 years of age. I thought, you know what? I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad. Do what you got to do. Yo, it's crazy out here, people. It's crazy. The fight was a shambles. The fight was it was a shambles. I thought, to be honest, someone would get knocked out, but he had debt. He wanted the bread. Do you know what? Mike Tyson, for me, and I will get back to football in the next minute, by the way, if you're waiting for the football chat, but Mike Tyson was my favourite boxer growing up. He was the first boxer that genuinely made me stay up till like 4 or 5 in the morning to watch a fight in America because he was so exciting. There were a lot of good fighters, but nobody was more exciting than him. You know, and I'm sure a lot of you did it. Stayed up till 5 in the morning. Tyson was ending fights after 45 seconds, just knocking people out. But yeah, this YouTube boxing thing is. It's big. You know, it is big. I think football and other things will probably go down similar routes. I don't know if you guys saw today, Sidemen game at Wembley sold out in 2.5 hours, 80,000, Wembley Stadium. People are intrigued to see what's going on. Now, you're not going there because you're going to see a high level of football. You're going there because big content creators are going to play. And, you know, and it's curiosity keeps you watching it. And they know they're manipulating us. So, you know, from a business point of view, I think it was great business. It is a social media era. It's a powerhouse. It's an absolute powerhouse. And I tell you one of the things, I think I said this before. Robbie went on tour with Ian Wright. They landed at the airport. I think it was in China when Arsenal went there years ago. They landed at the airport in China and Robbie got mobbed and Ian Wright didn't. And I tell you the bigger extent that I heard people were asking Ian Wright to take a picture of Robbie and them. Now that tells you everything. You know what I mean? And they didn't even, a lot of them didn't even know who Ian Wright was. They're like, yo, Donny, will you take a picture of me and Robbie? This is Robbie. Like, and Ian Wright's like, yo, you do know I was Arsenal's record goal scorer before Thierry Henry. Like, do you want to take a picture with me? What about me? They're like, Donny, just take the picture. Robbie's here. I was like, nah, that's wild. And this is the society nowadays. Yo, mate, take a picture, will you? There's a celebrity here and don't know who you are, but yeah, make sure you take the picture good. Real talk. Righty, take a picture. Robbie's here. Crazy people. That's the world we're living in now. Make the most of it is what I would say, people. So, and do what you can. But right, anyway, let's get back to football. Yeah, all that back in my day talk, they don't care about that, bro. Yeah, I was a good player back in the day. Yeah, not bothered. Are you playing now? No, not bothered then. Take the picture. Never heard of you. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. You would, wouldn't you? Thinking, yeah, I'm second top goal scorer of all time. And I'm being made to take a picture with a content creator. But that's society, people. It's different. It's about what you're doing now. What have you done for me lately? Remember them jokes? What have you done for me lately, man? They're not interested, you know? Anyway, let's talk about Victor Gyokeres. Back to football. I've been waffling. Victor Gyokeres did an interview over the weekend while away with Sweden on international duty. He was questioned about his future. Take the picture, chop, chop. I've got places to be. Take the damn picture. And do it landscape. Still waiting on that big CV White Yardie fight. Hey, come on, man. The check hook, you know, the Mayweather check hook, you know. Nah, man, it's all good. Gyokeres said, I've read many rumours about my future, but my plans don't change. I want to stay at Sporting Lisbon until the end of the season. He was then asked about a reunion with Amorim at Manchester United. He said he has some strikers there already, so we will see. I mean, listen, do I believe this or not? There was a few more quotes. They didn't show you all of it, but Sporting Lisbon are top of the league. They are flying. 11 wins out of 11 games. This has got to be one of the most dominant Sporting Lisbon teams in years. They are absolutely flying. They're the current champions. They're second in the Champions League group, and they're top of their league, and they're already 6 points clear of Porto. Could be 5 points if Benfica win their game in hand. And he's probably thinking, I can win the league again in Portugal. I can score even more goals than I scored last season. And I can get myself an even bigger contract. I've always said, though, there's an element of risk involved in football. And players say things like this. I think if somebody turned up, activated that release clause in January, his language would change very, very soon. Because football is not... Football doesn't wait for anybody. You need to put pressure on him. But his agent will be saying, why don't you wait until the summer and then 4 or 5 big clubs will be in for you rather than rushing. And the thing is, if Arsenal came in for him, would he even want the Arsenal move? We're not playing good football. We're not top of the league. We're not flying in the Champions League. If Arsenal were serious, and I've said this before, Arsenal should be activating that release clause in January. If the player says, no, you tried. You tried. But to sit there, wait until the summer, and then try and have a race when we know Man United will probably look at him. The ex-manager may be able to emotionally get him out of there and bring him to Manchester United. Barcelona talking about replacing Lewandowski because he's 36, even though he's having a very good season. Manchester City have publicly said they're looking for another striker to help Haaland. And we're looking at other clubs, you know, Chelsea could do with a striker. You can see that Jackson is probably not the long-term solution. Liverpool, maybe if Darwin Núñez doesn't have a big season, they may be looking at a striker. So I just think it's too risky to wait until the summer if this is the player you want. It's always felt this deal to me like Arsenal don't want him that much. I don't know why. It just feels to me like they don't want that to happen. Like, he's not their target. they're looking at other players. What do you guys think? Do you buy into this? Do you think Gyokeres is thinking, stay at Sporting, win the league again, have a good Champions League run, leave in the summer when 4 or 5 clubs may be in for him? Or do you think if a club like Arsenal came in, activated the release clause in January, do you think his mindset would change? I'll be honest, I think it would change. We're not glamorous at the moment, you know. We're not the most attractive proposition. However, you've got to remember, this is a guy that played in the Championship for two years at Coventry. He would have dreamt of playing in the Premier League when he was down in the Championship at Coventry. And he knows how big Arsenal are. You know, Freddie Lundberg, Swedish, played for Arsenal. Imagine Arsenal turning up. He's on 45 grand a week. Imagine turning up and saying, okay, we're going to quadruple your wages and give you 180 grand a week, which Arsenal could easily do, and pay the release clause. I think he'd leave. I think he would go. I don't think he would wait. And I'd be saying to him, listen, all that needs to happen is you to get a bad injury, and you ain't going nowhere. You're forgotten about, bro. You know what I mean? So you need to think about that. I would turn up with 180 grand a week, activate the release clause, and say, it's your decision. You either come now or we'll leave it. Do I think the Kroenkes will do that? No. And do I think Arsenal will sign any striker in January? Probably not. The clause is available in January. What the clause is in his contract, it's £85 million release clause to get him now. In the summer, apparently the release clause is around £63 million. So you can save £22 million by signing him 6 months later. That's the problem. A lot of clubs are probably looking at it going, it feels like a less risky signing to buy him for 63 million than to pay 85 million. But the problem you're going to have is a number of clubs are going to go in for him in the summer. So what do you do? Arteta would ruin Gyokeres, said I love. And Elk said, I can't wait for us to pretend to go for Isak in the summer and not get him. I can't wait. We'll pretend Gyokeres in January and then we'll pretend for Isak. This story came out the other day that Isak is Arsenal's top striker target. I said, well, you do know he's got 3 years left on his deal in the summer. There's no release clause. Newcastle have the richest owners in the world. How does that situation equate to Isak being sold in the summer? How does that add up? They're not under pressure financially. He has years left on his contract. He's arguably their best player with Bruno Guimaraes. Although somebody on Friday said that, or was it Thursday in the chat, said that Gordon was Newcastle's best player. I nearly fell off my chair, but hey, it's opinions. I think Arsenal made a huge mistake in the summer and they need to rectify it. How do you rectify that? They missed out on Ivan Toney for 40 million. They missed out on Osimhen, whose release clause ended up at 65 million. They didn't activate Gyokeres at 85 million. So now you're short of options. So now you've got to get creative and do something. If I was Arsenal, first of all, I would use one of our strikers as a make weight to get somebody out. Now, just as an example, Newcastle probably wouldn't be keen on selling Isak. But the way you could do it is maybe you could give them Gabriel Jesus plus cash. Newcastle have been linked with Gabriel Jesus. Napoli were linked with Gabriel Jesus. Maybe you could give him and get Osimhen out of there at a reduced price, you know, and say, listen, we'll give you 35, 40 million plus Jesus for Victor Osimhen. Osimhen has a release clause in January. I don't know. We're thinking about all these things. Arsenal will probably dress all of this up and say it's not doable in January. And that's the problem. That's the problem. Jesus wouldn't want to live in Newcastle. Yeah, maybe not. I'm not sure. The weather up there is not great. You know, it rains a lot. Expectation, Gyokeres, reality, some Chelsea reject. Yeah, we'll probably get Madueke or someone. Listen, this story doesn't change much for me. He's being loyal to the club that are paying his wages, right? He can't come out and keep saying he wants to move. I still think if somebody put the money down in January, this guy would run out of Lisbon. He's already won the Portuguese league. They're not going to win the Champions League, and he's sitting on 45 grand a week. When he knows coming to the Prem, he's probably going to get close to 200 grand. So this story doesn't mean much to me. I think he'd leave if the right club came in for him. Mo said, more fun debate. During the 2014-18 era, did you think Sanchez was a better player than Hazard? And does looking back in retrospect, did that thought age well? I always said that Hazard was the more aesthetically pleasing player to watch. It was more effortless. Sanchez was a bit more rugged. He had that South American edge to him. I genuinely think Sanchez was a better player at Arsenal than Hazard was at Chelsea. And I stick by that. And I say it because look at the players that Sanchez was playing with. No disrespect. Hazard was playing with stars, mate. Diego Costa, Cesc Fabregas. Do you know what I mean? Top draw players. Now, we had some good players, but this guy was playing Giroud, you know, Coquelin and Nacho Monreal. They're average players. At Arsenal, they were average players. I think Alexis Sanchez was unbelievable. He was top quality for Barcelona. And he was top quality for Arsenal. And he was top quality for Chile. He won the Copa America, which is probably, you could say, the equivalent of the Euros. What did Hazard do at Real Madrid? And what did he do in a Belgium shirt? So I'll go with Alexis Sanchez. I'll go with Alexis. Played for Barca, played for Arsenal. United signed him. City wanted him. He was an outstanding football player. Outstanding. And Udinese. And in fact, he even went to Inter and did bits. So listen, Hazard was an amazing footballer. Let me not disrespect Eden Hazard. He was incredible. We were in for him as well and didn't get him. But Sanchez, for me, was more of a... I don't know, it just felt like he was more of a match winner. I felt like Sanchez could, you know, get you out of a difficult situation. You know, Hazard down tools that year when Chelsea finished like 10th as well. So I'm going with Alexis. People saying he wasn't that great at Inter, but you know what I mean. Hazard's retired now. At least Alexis still playing ball. So I go with Alexis Sanchez, man. Alexis Sanchez, baby. Alexis Sanchez. Oh. And he won us trophies, man. I know they weren't the biggest for us at the time, FA Cups. Hazard did cook us in Baku, though. That was painful. I'm not even going to lie. He ripped us apart that day. And when he had Coquelin doing a front flip that day when he shoulder barged him. So, yeah, Hazard has inflicted some pain upon Arsenal. I'm not even going to lie. But, nah, Alexis. Mohammed said, big up, Big C in the community. We need more therapy. Well, listen, if we lose to Forest this weekend, I might have to just, oh, my days, my hometown club. That's crazy. It's a tricky game. It's a tricky game, man. Chris Wood's on form. He's better than Havertz right now. Hudson-Odoi, they're talking about England recall. Gibbs-White's in the England squad. Murillo's being linked with Barcelona. They got some good players. This will be a tough game. And they'll go for us as well. Forest are playing on the front foot. They beat Liverpool. That will not be an easy game. But they did lose their last game. They lost at home to Newcastle. So we need to, you know, turn that around on them, if you like. Sonny said, see, other side of the coin, he saved us a lot. Damn, this is the problem when you read comments later on. I'm trying to figure out who you was talking about there. What was we talking about? Trossard? I'm totally lost with what we were talking about at that time, so my apologies. Gyokeres reminds me of Diego Costa. Oh, and they've got Edu as sporting director. Yeah, you're right. That'll be interesting. I wonder if he'll be at the game. I don't think he's actually taken over yet. It's got to be Trossard. It's got to be Trossard. Yeah, oh, you're right, Trossard. You mean in terms of, yeah. And that's what I was saying. Trossard has come up clutch for Arsenal a number of times. So we've got to praise him as well as be critical of him in what he's done wrong. Listen, I always say, a lot of you guys may have watched Gyokeres more than me. Are there similarities to Diego Costa? Diego Costa was that player that I couldn't stand him, right? He was horrible. He'd elbow you, he'd stamp on you, and if you gave him a little tap, he'd roll around the floor. But we were soft at that time under Wenger, and Diego Costa was a player that I always said, we need him in our team. We need a player like that up front for us, not Giroud. We needed a Diego Costa. is Gyokeres as aggressive as that? I actually genuinely still haven't watched enough of him to know if there are similarities. But I would like him to be like that if we signed him. Mo2K said, mind you, Sanchez had 48 GA. Alexis was on a different level, man. Like, the goals he was scoring from the wing, he was just unbelievable, man. I loved watching that guy play. As I said, that part of the North Bank was where I was sitting. I mean, 2016-17 season. Look at these stats. 24 goals and 10 assists. He played all 38 games that season. Didn't miss one game. 24 goals and 10 assists in the league. Unbelievable. 3 goals in the Champions League as well. Just ridiculous. For a left winger, I mean, he was just ahead of his time. Yeah, that's 130, 140 million pound player now. You're paying 88 million for Mudryk in the modern day. You'd pay 100 million for Leao. Leao ain't on that level, and you'd pay 100 million for him now. Alexis was different. Different. We have not replaced Alexis Sanchez, and we have not replaced Aubameyang. The closest replacement you could say is Odegaard for Ozil. And I'm still not sure that's an upgrade. I think Odegaard works harder, but I think Ozil on the ball was incredible when we first got him. Faded towards the end. You could even say we haven't replaced Santi Cazorla as the deep-lying playmaker. We don't have a centre mid that can get on the ball and dictate the tempo the way he was. So I think a lot of players haven't replaced Thierry Henry. No, we haven't. Oh, we got Kai Havertz, mate. We got killer Kai Havertz. He'll sort it out. You know, he's our striker. Odegaard for Ozil. Give his Odegaard no win. No, listen, I'm saying the closest in terms of the type of player. I'm not saying he's better than him. Let me just say that. Mesut Ozil was genius at work. Alexis or Van Persie? I'm going to go... My initial thought process was Alexis Sanchez, but Van Persie was incredible at Arsenal. But he didn't do much for long. We waited a long time for Van Persie to really kick into gear at Arsenal, and then he ducked out. So I'm going Alexis Sanchez, man. At least we had, a few years of him here doing, was he here 4 seasons, something like that? Van Persie was here for ages, kind of not doing much. But prime RVP was incredible. Saka or Sanchez, I always say that there's no debate. And I hope people don't take that as a disrespect. There's no debate about Saka or Sanchez. Sanchez is beyond him. Sanchez was world class at Arsenal, like without a shadow of a doubt. We got that whole situation so wrong. We rejected 60 million from Man City and then swapped him for Mkhitaryan. Then released Mkhitaryan, who was terrible. Crazy. I think we're still lacking those type of players, that individual brilliance, man. I think sometimes those players are difficult to manage. Because I think sometimes when you're that talented at something, whether it be football, I think you do have a different perspective and a different persona and aura about you, because deep down you're looking at the rest of your teammates going, you're good players, but I'm better than all of you. And I think you are built a little bit different when you know that. And I think the best managers know how to deal with that. And I think Arteta has probably got to step out of his comfort zone and go, you know what, this guy might cause me a problem in the dressing room, but this guy might also win me a Premier League or win me some trophies, because he's got that, I think having this nice dressing room and everyone gets on and we're doing the carpool thing with Frimpong on YouTube and all that. Yeah, that's great. But who's going to win me a big game at the Etihad or at Anfield? Or, I think we could do with somebody like that. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Edu's potential replacement, because this story is going everywhere today. Sky Sports are running with it. PSG's sporting director, Luis Campos, is under consideration to replace Edu at Arsenal. Now, I always say a lot of these sporting directors who we get linked with, I don't know too much about them, right? However, this is the first one that I actually think this is who we should be going for potentially. Like a lot of these other ones, Leverkusen guy, the West Ham guy, I don't know too much about them. You do a bit of, Google search, try and find out a little bit. This is the one so far that I'm saying, make this happen. This is the guy that built that Monaco team that was absolutely cooking, right? Kylian Mbappe, Thomas Lemar, Fabinho, Bernardo Silva, Martial, all those players. He built that team, right, with his talent ID. He then went to Lille. Lille ended up winning the French league. Rafa Leao, Victor Osimhen, Nicolas Pepe, all these guys. Gabriel Magalhaes as well, by the way. And he's now at PSG. He's been at PSG a little while, but we know the PSG, they went for the Galacticos, it didn't work. Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, it didn't work. They couldn't get the Champions League. Now, his contract is up this summer. And he's got one of the biggest reputations in world football. 60 years of age. He's Portuguese, but has fantastic links all over the world and has a huge reputation and brilliant relationships with the biggest agents in the world. For me, I wouldn't mind going down this road. Now, King, you are right. They did spend a fortune on Kolo Muani, who I said is the stretched out giraffe version of Eddie Nketiah. So, but everyone's entitled to get one or two wrong. There isn't any sporting director that gets all of them right. Let's be honest. But for me, I think this would be a great way to go. The only problem is it's not till the summer. So what do you do during the January transfer window? I suppose you could wait. Listen, let's keep it a book. We're not going to do big business in January anyway. So it'll probably be Edu's assistant who's still there, that Jason Ato and Arteta and them guys will deal with January. We'll probably sign some average player on loan or something. So the only thing I will say with this is Arteta going to bring a very strong-minded, determined, experienced sporting director in. And this guy is very outspoken. He's the type of guy that I think would put pressure on Arteta. And we've said it many times, it feels like jobs for the boys FC. Is he going to appoint somebody above him who's going to put pressure on him and say, listen, bro, I don't operate like this Kai Havertz and, Kivior. Yeah? I found Mbappe at Monaco. I found Osimhen at Lille and Leao. Yeah? Buy this player, buy that player. Are those two guys going to clash? They reckon Arteta's going to have a huge say in the next person that's brought in as the sporting director. I just don't see him bringing somebody like that in. And that's what I think Arsenal need to do. They need to bring somebody in that says, listen, let's go for it now. Let's get the best youngsters. Let's go for this. I've got a relationship with George Mendes, so I can get you Rafa Leao or I can get you this player. Not some little guy from Sociedad who signed Arteta 20 years ago, so we're going to bring him in. No, I'm not on that. That don't work. It hasn't worked at Arsenal. Edu clearly didn't have the relationships with the agents. He's new in the game. They mugged him off. You don't go to Chelsea, who've had Havertz at the club for 3 years. Their fan base don't rate him. They signed him as an attacking midfielder, but just shoved him up front because in midfield he wasn't that good. You don't walk out of Stamford Bridge. Well, I'm sure it was probably done by email. But you do not walk out of Stamford Bridge with Havertz at £65 million. Now, I wouldn't have signed Havertz anyway. But if you are going to sign Havertz, it should have been, guess what? They paid 75 million for him. We've picked him up for 35 million and we're going to try and rescue him and get him back to the Leverkusen Havertz. I wouldn't have agreed with it, but at least I could have said, well, you know what? For 35 million, you can take the risk. If we can get anything like the Leverkusen one, it's only 35 million. You probably get your money back. No problem. But to spend 65 million, 10 million less than what they'd paid for him. We signed Pepe for 72 million pounds. We kept him for 3.5 years and got 3 million pounds for him. 3 million! We paid 72 and got 3 million back after 3.5 years. They paid 75, kept him for 3 years, and got 65 back. And got 275 grand a week off their wage bill. How the hell did that deal happen? Who signed that deal off? Honestly, to this day, and I know some fans think Havertz is doing okay. I personally don't. But how the hell did Chelsea get that deal out of us? We made him the top earner at Arsenal Football Club. Now, a lot of people say sometimes, oh, you talk about money too much and it's not our money, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is, money has a knock-on effect. We know that Saliba's going to have 2 years left on his contract by the summer. If we want to keep Saliba out of the clutches of Real Madrid, you're going to have to sit down and give him another new contract. If I'm William Saliba, the first thing I'm saying is, Kai Havertz on 275 grand a week. I'm better than him. I'm more important to your team than him. I need my wages to look like his wages. Then you're in trouble. Because do you want a centre-back on 275 grand a week? Not really. Usually it's the match winners, the goal scorers. And then if you give Saliba 275 grand a week, guess what Saka wants? He probably wants even more. Because I'm your main attacking player. I'm your poster boy. I came through your system. You didn't even have to pay money for me. So actually, 275 ain't even enough for me because I'm better than Havertz. So I'm not even taking what Havertz is getting. I'm going to need that 300, bro. I'm going to need that 300. Then all of a sudden, Saliba 275. Saka 300. Havertz 275. Now your wage bill's through the roof. Now you can't go and buy top quality players because you're at your wage bill limits. Now you're in trouble. And that's where the issue lies, people. Knock-on effect is crazy. Yeah, Pepe lost his mind. Tiana Trump and all that. What the hell's going on, man? But yeah, you're right. Anyway, Luis Campos, what do you guys think? Do you know anything about him? Somebody just said there his WhatsApp is crazy. Is there I think that was Salman. Is there controversy around him? I don't know the full story. But I know that he's very, very highly rated. Mbappe told me in my face I was not gonna play anymore. I'm just trying to search what the stories are about him. It's not saying much. We'll see. Let me know. Is there controversy around Luis Campos? Is there controversy around him? I'm not sure. Big C is rocking. Big up, big up, big up. We're here, people. We're here, people. Hope you're all well on this Monday. We're back. Father Time still undefeated, says Marty. Big up yourself, bro. Christian said Sanchez is the reason I'm here. He's my favourite player. He's, there's a debate. He's the best Arsenal player of the Emirates era, really, if you're talking about doing it over a sustained period of time. You know, I think him, Aubameyang, Van Persie, a couple of others, really. He was special. He was a special player. Adar said, to be fair, Arsenal indirectly helped some clubs with FFP. Havertz, Jesus, Zinchenko then added problems for their own clubs, but paying relatively big fees and wages. You're absolutely bang on. Bro, we basically helped Man City buy Haaland. Oh, what happened there? He said some racist stuff, did he? Community, big up yourselves. About Rodrigo, was it? To impose sanctions on PSV Ultras. I got to read this because I'm taking all this story back. Luis Campos, Luis Campos next to your home. Inappropriate behaviour. What was that? Actually, will take place. Will be banned from the sidelines. Oh, he had an argument with a match official. No, we don't want that one. What did he say? Oh, Rodrigo. Let's have a look. I need to know this because I'm bigging this guy up saying Arsenal should go for him. And he's got a dodgy story behind him, has he? Let's have a look. What did he say? I can't find it. He said some racist stuff. A few of you have said it, so I believe you, of course. Nah, Jay Black said, I don't care. Bring that racist here. Oh, my days. That's how desperate we are, right? I never rated him. Nah, if you look at the work that he's done anyway, he failed at PSG. At Lille, I mean, Pepe was a bum of a signing for us anyway. And Monaco, I mean, they didn't win the Champions League, did they? So, nah, for me, Thomas Rosicky, anyone? We're shameless, people. We're shameless. Oh, dear me. Ah, crazy. Crazy. Big C, have you seen the Harry Kane statue? That's a bit harsh, mate. I thought he tried his best against Republic of Ireland. He's just not very quick. So that was a dad joke. In my head, I was laughing my head off at it. You said the Harry Kane statue. I've seen the statue, but I thought you was calling him a statue because he's so slow. In my head, that was hilarious. But then when I said it out loud, it didn't hit the same way. I thought I was like Chris Tucker dropping a joke there. They say when you get older, you laugh at your own jokes. I thought that was hilarious. Have you seen that Harry Kane statue? Even saying it sounds funny to me. But forgive me, people. That's what Arsenal do to you when they haven't won a league for 2 decades. You become a bit crazy. But it's the only way to deal with this club. A Campos controversy. So, yeah, stay away from him. But anyway, let's move on. Finally, I'm going to round up by talking about the stadium. If we're not going to win trophies, let's at least fail looking good, right? Why not? Arsenal are considering increasing the capacity of the Emirates Stadium to 80,000, according to people familiar with the matter. Do you know what? What kind of source is that? People familiar with the matter. Like, who, bro? Who? Like, at least make something up. According to people familiar with the matter. I'd love to know who that is. Discussions are at an early stage, reports at Business. An Arsenal spokesperson, we are continually looking at ways to improve our facilities. We'll probably get new toilets. Do you know what I mean? Get some new toilets. What do you think? 80,000. I'm just thinking, how would they add another tier to the stadium? I don't know how that would work. And then where would you get the time to do it? To be honest, the club does need a makeover. In more ways than one, actually. But I think we need to sort out what's happening on the pitch before we do the stadium. How about you buy a striker, mate? You know what I mean? And all that's going to happen, like someone's just said there, all that will happen, people, is the tickets will go up. You know who's going to pay for it? We're going to pay for it. They'll bring out merch every other week. Ticket prices will go up. And we'll pay for it. So I'd rather see a striker than an extra 20,000 Arsenal fans in the stadium. Without sounding very harsh and quite brutal. Stay at home and watch it and get us a better striker. That's what I'd rather. 20,000 more fans to watch Kai Havertz up front. I actually think it's quite unfair. You could say that's a punishment. So, yeah. Not interested. Christmas sweaters have landed. Yeah, the merch is thriving. Academic said, I genuinely hate the Emirates. No league or Champions League. It's a big curse. I do think that, and I don't want to go off topic here because I can talk about these things for hours. I really can. But you've got to sit here right now in 2024 and say that moving to the Emirates has not helped this football club in a footballing manner. Of course, it helped us financially. We moved out of a 38,000 stadium to a 60,000. So the amount of money that the club earns on a match day has gone through the roof. And as I said, Arsene Wenger said that the club could have potentially gone bankrupt because our wage bill got so high with players like Bergkamp and Henry and Pires and Vieira that having a 38,000-seater stadium was just not going to be enough to maintain the levels that we were at financially in terms of outgoings. But if we're being honest, we've been lied to. We've been lied to. Let's keep it a buck. We have been lied to. We were told we are moving stadium to compete with Bayern Munich, who at the time were one of the best clubs in Europe and still are. They've won Champions Leagues, multiple league titles. Let's keep it 100. Are Arsenal competing with Bayern Munich? In what sense are we competing with Bayern Munich? Their stadium's better than ours. Their team's better than ours. They've won way more trophies than us. In what way are we competing with Bayern Munich? We left our spiritual home, and I tell you, that ground was special. We went to this stadium. We've won no major trophies, FA Cup, whether, okay, we can call that major, but it's not the top bracket. And let's be honest, outside of, I'll give them Ozil, I'll give them Alexis, and I'll give them Aubameyang. I don't think we have signed any kind of superstar since we've been in this stadium, apart from those three. I'm talking about the level that they were at when we signed them. Aubameyang was electric at Dortmund. The fans were super hyped about getting him in. Ozil, the fans went crazy. You saw it on Sky Sports. And Alexis was an unbelievable signing. Apart from those three, I don't think we've made any signing that I've been like, wow, what a signing that is. I think every other signing you're like. So what we moved here for was to sign the best players. We're not doing that. To win the biggest trophies. We're not doing that. And if you can't win the best trophies, compete for the best trophies. We're not really doing that. Okay, yeah, the last 2 years in the league, we have to say we were. But this year at the moment doesn't look good. The Champions League, let's be honest, we've got nowhere near the Champions League. In fact, we got so far away from the Champions League, we dropped out of Europe altogether. And we spent about 4 years in the Europa League. So when you look at this, we've been absolutely lied to by this ownership and all these people PRing the fans for over a decade or nearly 2 decades. Leave Highbury, go to the Emirates, get ahead of the curve, because Man United have got the massive stadium. Our stadium will be bigger than Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, Tottenham. We'll get the finances in quicker, we'll be rich, we'll be living, and we'll sign the best players. And yet we're sitting here in 2024, November, going, yeah, we couldn't buy a striker in the summer because of PSR. We spent £97 million. And made about 97 million from player sales. It's criminal what people are getting away with at this football club as a fan base. And it makes me mad. I get so annoyed with it that fans will go mad if I make a comment about the manager online. And other people who don't agree with it. But you will sit there and allow an ownership to get rid of your stadium, push you into another stadium, tell you that we're going to live like Wizard of Oz on the yellow brick road, and we're sitting here going, 20 years, no title. 20 years, but at least we're competing with Man City. Come on, man. Do me a favour. We've been lied to. And like I said, I'm being totally honest. Those of you that have been to the Emirates, you'll know. Those of you that haven't, I hope you get to experience it. I'll be totally honest, the Emirates is not even that good a stadium. It's not even that good. The matchday experience in general, it's nothing special. I'm being totally honest. Because that stadium was built 2 decades ago. So it's a bit out of fashion now. I went to Tottenham Stadium. I said, I can't believe this chicken on a ball got this stadium and we've got our stadium. The paint's peeling off our stadium. They've got this state-of-the-art stadium. It's not even that good a stadium, honestly. It's not even that good. So it was money. They manipulated the fan base. They didn't give us what they said they were going to give us. I went to SoFi Stadium. I said, wow, this is unbelievable. I feel like I'm walking into a spaceship. There's a beach outside with palm trees and lakes. Now, don't get me wrong. You ain't dropping that in London. It's cold. But the stadium itself is so ahead of time. It's just unbelievable. I didn't want to leave the stadium. It was that good. Go to the Emirates, you're like, it's a basic stadium. It's nothing special. So they've got to demand more. Demand more. This ownership is so rich. They can do it if they want to, but they're under no pressure to do it. They're making their money and sitting back, living the quiet life. They're good. People said to me, and let me go full page. People said to me, I got called out for something. Somebody said to me, why did you shake hands with Josh Kroenke in America? Right? And you know what I said to him? We spoke for about probably 30 seconds, right? When I shook his hand, I said, we need a Jokic. It's the first thing I said to him. Because people were on to me, yeah, you're always criticising the Kroenkes, but you shook hands with Josh. I said, first of all, I didn't shake hands with Stan. Stan's the owner. Josh has been given the power, but everything goes through Stan. Stan and Josh, they're much of the same, but Stan is he's the main one. I said to Josh, we need a Jokic. And he looked at me, he laughed. I said, we need a Jokic. And he knew what I meant. But he just started talking about something else. And, because these guys know how to get out of those situations. So, sometimes you have to speak to these people to try and get change. But when I say a Jokic, by the way, Jokic obviously is the basketball player that plays for Denver Nuggets, which is their team in America. He's a superstar, one of the best players, one of the highest paid players, and they won the NBA championship last year. So I said, we need a Jokic. We need a superstar at Arsenal. That's what I said to him. He laughed it off. Well, this season, blah, blah, blah. It was sunny. It was LA. He knows how to get out of them situations. So, Jason said, I think the stadium criticism is unfair. You don't look at a 20-year-old Rolls Royce, call it bad because it doesn't compete with a new one. When I say bad, it's not bad. It's not a bad stadium, but it's not that good. And they've had opportunities and finances to do it up. They've been saying for a long time they want the screens to be bigger. The screens are small. And the whole match day experience, do more things around the stadium. Build a fan zone. Have things going on. There's nothing going on. You go to, I think now football needs to be, and listen, all this is just different stuff. If your team's doing well on the pitch, you don't care what your stadium looks like. But I think they can improve things in that sense anyway. And I get you 20 years old, but do it up, improve it, make it a better experience. Because you're charging, they don't mind charging the prices because of what happened 20 years ago. So if you're still charging fans the prices that make you one of the highest in Europe, then the experience needs to level up as well. I want better than that. I can tell you now, the food inside the Emirates is dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. If you're inside the Emirates, unless you're in a corporate seat where you're getting that better food, if you go to the Emirates and sit in a regular seat, do not buy food inside that stadium. It is awful. They're so bad. Go outside. There's a Jamaica shop across the road. There's a nice chip shop. There's a few shops. The food... But anyway, I've gone way off topic. Let me read out these super chats, then we'll round up people. Adash said, to be fair, Arsenal... No, we read that one. Big up to you with that. War Eagle, can we just sim the rest of the season? Already tired of it. When you've got to go out and you're playing career mode, you just sim it. Oh, how did we lose? And Adash said, Arsenal owners trying to be like Tottenham in terms of revenue, and this affects the squad quality and eventually trophy performance. No questions, as long as top four. Don't get it twisted, and you are right with what you're saying. This football club and ownership have looked here and gone, that's interesting. Tottenham are hosting Beyonce concert. Sold out, huge prices for those tickets. I know a few people who went to that. Tickets were over £350 to watch Beyonce. Travis Scott concert, massive. They changed the whole Tottenham club shop to a Travis Scott shop for 2 days while he concerted there. They took all the Tottenham merch out, put all Travis Scott stuff, Cactus Jack and all of that. Sold out, massive prices. So what do Arsenal do? Oh, we're going to do a Robbie Williams concert. I mean, at least do Travis Scott. I would have probably gone to that. Robbie Williams, And now we're going to probably start going down that route. We'll start doing concerts. And listen, make your money, bro. But if you're going to make your money, I expect it to be put back into the club. Don't tell me we can't buy a striker when you got a Robbie Williams concert. It is smart business. I don't blame them being smart businessmen. You don't make billions without being a smart businessman. But we expect the club to stop getting the crumbs off the plate. Here's Jorginho. Here's Marquinhos. Here's a failed bid for Benjamin Sesko. Here's a war chest story for the summer. Here's PSR. Here's January transfer window. Here's the excuses. Sick of hearing it. They need to fix up, but we'll see. No OGs today, people. No OGs. Not a lot to go over, to be honest. So we'll be back again next Monday with OGs. I am actually on Supporters Club with Turkish tomorrow. I think Chris Hudson as well. So look out for that show over on AFTV. Big up to everyone locking in today. Really appreciate your support. Been a good show. Enjoyed it. Next door was drilling during the show. You know what I mean? I don't know what the hell building work they're doing next door, so apologies for that. But good conversation as always. Big up the Twitch gang. Big up everyone on YouTube. C Unit Business. We're back to business this week. Arsenal will be playing on Saturday against Nottingham Forest. The Curtis Shaw derby. And on Friday, it will be waffle settings with Mikel Arteta's press conference. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.